Welcome back to a special daily drop here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones. It is Tuesday night. The ACC basketball schedule, the conference schedule for 2024-25 came out tonight, and we have here in North Carolina's 20-game league slate. The non-conference portion of the schedule had been out for a while. We reported on that, done podcasts on it, kind of grind that one up pretty good. Now we're going to do that with the conference slate. The Tar Heels Open League play in December, one game in December 7th at home against Georgia Tech. They played Georgia Tech in December a couple of times before. They were up in Atlanta a couple of years ago on a Saturday or a Sunday in early December. They hosted Georgia Tech on a Saturday in early December as well. So it looks like the ACC likes this Carolina Yellow Jacket Saturday or Sunday early December matchup. Not a fan of the early December matchup. Not a fan at all. I don't think I'm not a fan of games being played before students get back. Students should be there for ACC games, but they got to fit the games in. So it is what it is when you play a ridiculous 20-game schedule. I've been on the record many times saying I think it should be 18 games, add 2 more non-conference games, and it would help the league come NCAA tournament time, but that is a different topic for a different day. I'm going to run through it real quickly. Most of you have seen it, but I'm just going to run through it real fast so you can kind of visualize in your mind, or if you don't know it, you're going to hear it now for the first time. Like I said, December 7th, Georgia Tech at home. January 1st and January 4th, the Tar Heels are at Louisville and Notre Dame. They have SMU at home on the 7th, at NC State, California, Stanford. They come in a 4-day period. They're going to be traveling pretty much together throughout this season. Carolina then goes to Wake Forest, home against BC, at Pitt, at Duke. They have an open date after the first Duke game. Then they host Pitt. So 2 out of 3 games are against the Panthers. Then they go to Clemson and Syracuse. Tough stretch there. Home against the Wolfpack. UVA at home. At Florida State. Miami at home. At Virginia Tech. And then home against Duke to close out the regular season on March 8th. The ACC tournament will start a couple of days after that. So a couple of notes that I dug up from the schedule. The Tar Heels don't play more than 2 consecutive road or home ACC games this season. So they're avoiding that. Also, 4 of the last 6 games are at home. So Carolina gets to close in its last 6 games, State and UVA at home, at FSU, Miami at home, at the Hokies, Duke at home. There's a stretch there where 4 out of 5 games are on the road in league play. Starting in late January, they go to Pitt, they go to Duke. So the first game against Duke is on the road, and just 3 days beforehand, they're at Pitt. It's going to be a tough game, tough stretch for the Tar Heels. But then they have an open date. They come back and play Pitt at home, and then they go to Clemson and Syracuse. So it's 4 out of 5 on the road, but it spans about 2.5 weeks, or 3 weeks rather. So it looks tougher on paper than perhaps it is because they'll have that time period between at Duke and home against Pitt. They have 2 Monday night games. 2 Monday night games, but they're both on the road. So they're home on Saturday. 2 days later, they're at Clemson, and then later on at Florida State. The FSU one, that comes toward the end of the regular season. 4 games in 9 days in one span. They go to Syracuse, come home, play State, UVA, and at FSU. So 4 games, 9 days. We like to break this up because once you get into the season, sometimes the players will talk about it. And media, we look for storylines. Sometimes we say something about, hey, there's this 4-game and 9-day stretch. This will really test the team. This will simulate an NCAA tournament type of scenario where, let's say you open the tournament on a Friday, you play Friday, Sunday, and then the next week, if you're in the regionals, you play Friday, Sunday. That's 4 games in 9 days, basically. It's the same kind of thing. So the players do look at that a little bit as well. As I noted, the open date comes after the Duke game. Great time for that. The Duke games are February 1st and March 8th. So I should note that together, February 1st, March 8th, 5 weeks apart. I remember a few years ago, they played 17 days apart. It's good to see the ACC spreading that out a little more. 3 new teams in the ACC, SMU, Cal, and Stanford. Carolina doesn't play any of them on the road. They host all 3, and they host all 3 in succession for home games. So it's an 11-day span. They host SMU, which is January 7th. They host Cal, which is January 15th. They host Stanford, January 18th. So the only home ACC game by the time Boston College rolls in to the Dean Dome on January 25th against an ACC team that has been in the league before is Georgia Tech, December 7th. Then they go SMU, Cal, Stanford, then BC. So those first 5 conference games, not exactly world beaters there. Very interesting, just kind of wild to look at the schedule like that and try to get used to it. The last thing is 3 teams that they play twice. We've noticed before. We knew who they were playing and where. We just didn't know the dates were or anything like that. But they do play Duke, State, and Pitt twice each. Everybody else once each. So I think this is a pretty good schedule. The road games are tough. You got to look at playing Syracuse once and it's on the road. They're playing Clemson once and it's on the road. They're playing the Hokies once and it's on the road. Playing Notre Dame once and it's on the road. Those are tough places. So I mentioned the first 5 home games. The last 5 home games are Pitt, NC State, Virginia, Miami, and Duke. So not a terribly difficult home schedule. I think the road schedule is more difficult. Let's read the 10 road games in a row right now just to kind of give you a visual here. At Louisville, at Notre Dame, at State, at Wake, at Pitt, at Duke, at Clemson, at Syracuse, at Florida State, at Virginia Tech. I would say the road schedule, just based on opponents, is more difficult than the home schedule. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about the schedule. What do you think the record's going to be in league play? It's not too early to start talking about that because the Tar Heels started practicing formally for the season on Monday, and we're diving into it. Next Friday, we get to talk to the players, get to watch practice. Less than a week after that is ACC tip-off. A week after that is the game at Memphis, in the exhibition game. And guys, before you know it, we're going to be knee-deep into the basketball season. So let us know what you think about the schedule. Are there any traps in there? Any sequences concern you the most? Do you agree with me? Do you think the home schedule is lighter than the road schedule? Share your thoughts. Let us know on Twitter, on Facebook, and on our message boards. Make sure you like this video. Even if you don't like the schedule, even if you don't like the video, go ahead and like the video. Make sure you subscribe to our channel if you haven't. Hit the notification bell so you get updates every time we upload a video, and tell your Tar Heel friends we are here. If they don't know about it, they got to come on over, man. Come over and hang out with us, check out our content, and stick around for a while. I'm AJ, and I appreciate y'all stopping by.